what's going on YouTube? So I wanted to do a walk around of my 1990 Jeep Cherokee XJ. Just got it lifted, did everything myself, got new tires on, got it cleaned up, and wanted to do an overview of everything I've done to it. This vehicle's been through plenty of transformations in its life. Primarily it's been used as a stereo competition vehicle, and it's won numerous records and awards. It might be best known on the internet for being viral through some of those videos. Some of those videos have over 7 million views, so it's a pretty well-known vehicle, but it's gone through its transformation back to more of a capable overland vehicle, I guess I'll call it. But I want to use it for daily driving, a little bit of fun, and it still does stereo competitions. But I'm downsizing, so I have a system in the back, and we'll go over that. But for all the Jeep fans, we'll do the outside walk around first, go over the suspension and the setup, and then we'll move towards the inside. So the Jeep got repainted about 3 years ago. I had a custom color made with a metallic, and it's really beautiful in the sunlight. Kind of picks up that coloring of the sun, and it will change depending on how the lighting is. Right now it's middle of winter, so it looks a little more orange just from maybe the camera and the sun, but it's kind of a nice copper color. It's nothing crazy. So I had that custom mixed and sprayed a few years back. So moving on from that, I also did my own decals to kind of update. So this is the actual font from the brand new Cherokees. So I got the font that's used on those. I'm not sure about the 4x4, but I know the Cherokee is, and I used it for the 4-liter emblem. This is a Renix, so it's not the HO, sadly, but she does pretty good. All original head gasket, nothing's been changed. About 260,000 on it. So that's kind of some of those things. We have full LED setup, so headlights, fog lights, light bar. Kind of smoked out the blinkers, so these are just stock lenses. So nothing too outrageous. I wanted to kind of modify the stock look and move on from there. So let's get on to suspension. So we just did a lift kit. It's a Rubicon Express 3.5-inch lift, but the front has a 3/4 inch spacer. That way it could match the level of the rear. The rear has the full leaf pack, but I also have added the rough country Shocko relocation bracket, which adds an additional inch of lift. So between the weight of the stereo system and that inch of lift, it kind of works out to 3/4, which matches the front. So it sits pretty level. So really happy with how it sits. So that full kit is in there. It's running on 33-inch Maxxis Razor tires, the Razor MTs. So 33 by 10.5s on the later model Jeep rims. Just had painted up. They've seen a little bit of wear, but they hold up pretty good. So they kind of keep with that Jeep theme, kind of OEM style modification. So getting under here, here's a view of the front of the lift. So the 3.5-inch coils from Rubicon Express. Those are rough country quick disconnects for the sway bar. Factory sway bar is painted up. This is the Grand Cherokee steering linkage setup, so it's a direct swap. These are much beefier, much thicker for steering, so it feels pretty good under there. And Rubicon Express parts. Right now it's using Rubicon Express lower control arms and stock uppers. I just replaced all the bushings, and it aligns within spec, so I don't really have a need for the use of this vehicle to do uppers at this point, but maybe eventually. Also Bilstein shocks, front and rear. Those read really nice. So those are the Bilsteins. Braided brake lines front and rear. Extended the bump stops, so it's got the bump stop spacer at the bottom. Rubicon Express, and I shaved it down to Rubicon Express upper so that it looks good. Just did new U-joints, new ball joints, new everything, under 100%. Replaced everything in the steering and suspension on the entire vehicle, and everything's been greased, adjusted, aligned. Also did new front brakes. Really just painted a pair of calipers and some new pads, and just got these slotted rotors. Stops pretty good. It could use a little bit more help, so eventually the rear is going to get disc when I do axles. Right now it's running a Dana 30 in the front, Dana 35 in the rear, 355 gearing, which is stock, and definitely wants to be swapped out for probably 410s. That way it's a little bit more advantage for driving, but it's still good for freeway. We'll be probably doing a Dana 44 with a locker and discs, so that will be the upgrade coming in the future for this. Otherwise we're just sticking with this for now. There's a view of the rear suspension. I don't currently have the Bilsteins in the rear. I'm waiting for those to come in the mail. So right now it's just got a pair of generic shocks. I don't know what they are. Exhaust pipe. It's got I think a Flowmaster exhaust. Nothing quite really loud or anything, but it has a nice sound. It's been under there for a while. It's nothing crazy. Underneath, the Jeep's pretty clean. We keep it clean, mostly because it goes to car shows a lot. So it's all coated. We did transfer case drop, 1 inch, because we're not doing slip yoke eliminator at this point, but eventually. This solved all the problems with any vibrations, so I'm okay with it. So it's riding pretty good, no issues. Does 75 on the highway, 80, no wobble, good control. Still stock steering box, seems to be holding up fine. Stock power steering and everything. So let's move on to under hood and we'll show you some of that. But last look at the tires. These are new. They're pretty beefy. I seem to like them. All right, let's move on under hood. All right, so looking under the hood, I keep my decal collection. It's a horsepower per decal, I guess, but they're all from the history of car audio. So it's my channel, YouTube JeepAndBass. So like I said, this has had a history of doing car audio competitions. It's primarily what it's been used for. So we do, of course, have electrical to sustain a pretty decent system. So we'll go over that. Right now, we're checking out the Renix setup. So this is just the original 4.0. It's never been taken out. It's never had any issues. Runs great. Oil probably has 1,000 miles or so on it, and it comes out so clean. So it's very little blow by. It's just a well-maintained. It won't focus on that, but you can see it's not dark or anything. So pretty good there. So as far as mods under here, my hot air intake, actually I'm going to be doing something with that. I saw online you can run intake into the cowl, so either doing that or I'm going to modify the rough country intake that has like the divider. But this helps because I've upgraded injectors, so these are the 4-hole injectors, and it was running a little rich, so getting some more air in it helped, even if it does heat soak a little bit. At least that's what I noticed. So that'll get a little more attention later. We have a 95 brake booster. I don't remember which year they upsized, but it's got the bigger booster and master, so that helped the braking out quite a bit. Already said I had the injectors. Nothing special down here other than it is swapped to electric fan setup, aftermarket 3-quart radiator. These keep up no problem. So 2 of them run off this temperature switch and relay, and the third one I can manually turn on when I need it. I run to like 90% of the year. Here's a screw. That's funny. So 90% of the year it can run on 2. If it's a really hot day and it's in traffic, then the third one will pop on. But it stays below 200 pretty much year round, so it's in a good operating range. So good there. Just regular maintenance parts. So as far as the electrical, as everyone probably is wondering, this is an aftermarket alternator, and so is the one down there. So we have dual alternator setup. That one is a 240 amp, and this one's a 370 amp, so a little over 600 amps of charging. We have a full throttle group 34 battery, my custom wiring here with my YouTube channel and website heat shrinks, and this is 0 gauge OFC, so you can see how big it is versus my fingers, so it's roughly what my thumb is. And then it runs all the power off the charging setup, so off these alternators all the way to the back. So all the alternators charge up here, all the runs come to this battery and then go through a fuse holder. Fuse holder runs all my runs to the back, which powers vehicle and all the amplifiers. So 3 of these are for amplifiers. We're running roughly 10,000 watts in this vehicle right now, so we need this many runs. So it's kind of set up. S&D fuse holder. So it's that. Relocated the reservoir for the radiator. So yeah, I would try to keep everything pretty clean under here and functional. So yeah, these alternators seem to do good. I haven't had any issues with them getting wet. I don't do tons of water crossings or anything, so they seem to be fine. So yeah, that's the under hood. I guess we can move on inside and show you the interior. So inside the Jeep, you can immediately tell something's not stock. We did these door panels out of wood. So this is 100% wood. That's not fiberglass. These are shaved, carved. We call it stack fab. So it's a few sheets of birch that we stack, stain. So this is for the audio system. So you can see my whole front setup. It's pretty loud. It sounds really good, and it's primarily what this vehicle's been for, so that's why it's there. And then, of course, subwoofers in the rear. We'll show you those in a minute. Went through the entire interior. It's got new carpets, floor mats, the 97 and up console that I fit in here just to make it look a little better. I put this in. It needs a little touching up, but it's functional. So I have my charger and everything. Got a pretty clean one. Seat covers from Rough Country, just to clean up the interior. Brand new headliner, looks fairly decent. And then went through and did bed liner on all the interior. So this is all Raptor liner on everything. That was plastics because the interior I got out of a different vehicle and I wanted to get it the right color. So it all works pretty good. I also have the Raptor liner on the fenders. I forgot to mention that. So it's pretty clean. So yeah, lots of Raptor liner kind of to give it more of that rugged look and take care of the cosmetics of the vehicle. Grant steering wheel. Gotta have the go with the wood to kind of match the doors. I think it looks pretty good in there. So I have voltage readouts here for the stereo system. This vehicle was not equipped with AC, so the alternator didn't really delete the compressor. It just simply replaced a dummy bracket, so no losses there. This is the 2-door Cherokee, so it's got the bigger doors, so it gave me lots of real estate for these speakers. So if you're into the audio portion, I guess we can get started into that. Head unit is just a Pioneer 8800 series. It's basically the same as the 80 PRS, you know, does everything. So it's because I have a single DIN set up in the Jeep. Eventually I want to do double DIN and have a touchscreen, but for a single DIN, that's a pretty good unit. It's being ran through a processor, so I have an Audio Dynamics 8-channel processor underneath the driver's seat. Bass knob I had custom made to match. This is volume for the processor and controls, so I can control different presets and such. And those feed the Audio Dynamics 3000 series mids, a couple of their Neo mid, like kind of tweeter mids, I guess upper mids, and then 4000 series tweeters on each pillar. And these doors are serviceable by just magnets. It pops off the grill. You can access speakers, and then when you're ready, this will pop back on. There it goes. And maintain the function of the factory door just by utilizing the stock handles. So it's pretty good. I've also converted the doors to electric. So out of a 4-door, a little bit later model, these will swap over. They have big windows to push around, so they're a little slow, but they work fine, especially while the car is running and has good voltage. Not much going on in the rear seat. Again, those are those panels that I had bed lined. Did all that myself as well. We need to do new tint on the vehicle, so there's kind of a tear in that tint, but overall it's in decent shape. So in the rear we have 3 12s running on 2 amplifiers. So I'll go ahead and open the back and show you those. I had that paint matched to the vehicle. So it kind of looks nice. You can follow me on my social media accounts. Here's my Instagram, for instance. Even the decals, I tried to make it close to the paint color. So coming back here, this is the box I slapped together. Again, more Raptor liner on it. Kind of go with the theme. These are 3 12s, JVF Customs. It's a brand out of Sacramento. A local guy I know developed his own woofers, and we sourced out some parts from Sundown Audio. So a lot of these kind of look like Sundown Audio woofers, but they're custom with the motors. So as you can tell, these aren't your average speakers. They're pretty hefty, about 75 pounds each. And they are powered by 2 amplifiers. These are DC Audio 3.5K amplifiers, so 3,500 watts each. RMS, so total of 7,000 going to subs. And each door has its own amplifier. I'll show you in a moment. And for electrical in the rear, we have 4 banks of supercapacitors and an additional battery hiding behind the seat. So it's pretty stout and electrical. And then I have my tow set up here for towing trailer. I just pulled this cord out. Drop hitch. Come around to this side. These are the 2-door seats, so they get to fold back like that. So that's kind of nice. And then under the seat are the amplifiers. I need to organize the wiring still, but each amplifier goes to each door. So they're 1,000 watts a piece. So each door and a pillar utilizes 1,000 watts. So overall it's around 9,000 watt setup, give or take. So if you want to see videos of the system, go ahead, look through the channel. I just uploaded a video. I'm not going to do it in this one, but wanted to show you everything and how the setup looks. And it's kind of the purpose of the vehicle, but now I can do a little bit more of off-roading with the lift kit and such. Some other things. I did install a power inverter, and I need to get it mounted down though, but I have a power inverter, so we can plug in accessories and laptops and such. Temperature right here for amplifiers, voltage for amplifiers, voltage for rear batteries, voltage for front batteries, switches to control the amplifiers, switches to control the switches or the voltmeters. Everything works as far as the heating and air. Obviously, like I said earlier, no air conditioning. It's got the better full set of gauges, they all work. And yeah, so that's the overall walk around of my Jeep. It's been a pretty good vehicle for a long time, and it continues to be driven. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed checking out the Jeep. Maybe give you some ideas for whatever you're into, either car audio or Jeeps or whatever. But that's the whole idea of my channel, Jeep and Bass. So it's a Jeep and it has bass. So anyway, we'll wrap up the walk around with a kind of a side view. Show you how that sits. Again, it's a 3.5 Rubicon Express lift with a 3/4 inch spacer in the front and the relocation bracket for the shackles in the rear. It sits pretty good right there. So she's not done. Like I said, we're going to do axles, get some tint. I might even do drop brackets for the control arms. But otherwise it rides pretty good, even with that control arm angle, but it could be improved. So yeah, everything's pretty good. One last walk around and we'll end the video. So I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you like and subscribe and follow me on Instagram, Facebook at JeepAndBass.